The ceiling fans? They're very attractive.
Boys, I put more spoons on my ceiling fan. Check it out.
The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
You're all individuals! Yes, we're all individuals!
Clickety-click.
Crank up the music. Keep an eye on the back.
This presentation is provided to you to amuse or entertain and not to conform or inform. The content on this channel should not be used to replace professional, financial, medical, or legal advice. All footage taken and used from public sources falls under the fair use of the Digital Millennial Copyright Act of 1998. Therefore, no breach of privacy or copyright has been committed. This show is substantially sourced, not affiliated with any community, club, fraternity, or gang. Your cat may vary. I say, moo. I've given up my addiction to chocolate, marshmallow, and nuts. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a rocky road.
Satellite tracking continues.
Wow. Wow. Hey, everyone. Happy Friday. Whoop, whoop. We made it on the correct side of the topsoil of the grass and the thing, and you did it. And congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. We made it to another Friday night. These weeks are just flying by. But I have lots to say. I have a bunch of tabs. I probably won't get through maybe half of them because I have a special. Oh, I got to turn my camera on. Hang on. Shoot. Let's see. I can see you all, sort of, but you can't see me. And
clickety click.
Hey, everybody. Good to be seen by you all. We made it to another Friday night. I'm really excited. I've got a special guest tonight. I have not talked with this gentleman before, but I've watched his work when he talks with JT. And so let's see. It's funny that people talk about my intro. It's like, what did I think JT called it? Which one did he say? I get it mixed up. Inagata Vida or Freebird? He says the Freebird of YouTube. And so I'll take it. But I look for demon erasers, and he doesn't have one. And so I created this little thing because I like to do this for when I have guests on. So here he is.
To this surprise episode of the Demon Racers podcast. It's always a surprise because I don't always plan this, except for Saturdays. Saturdays, you can count on me being there.
So there you go. Hey, Brian.
Sweet. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Guess I should make an intro or some kind.
I don't know. It's a virus. JT has an intro now, before he didn't. So just don't get, I don't know. That song found me a while back and I don't know. It just fit. And I put all the pictures and stuff to it and I've been having fun with it for years. But so what I'd like to do is a couple things. There's already, dear Lord, good. That's wonderful. There's 121 people here. So thank you very much for coming over here. I know, Brian, you brought a lot of people over and I appreciate that. So probably I'll give just a little information about what I'm about and who I am. And then I'd like to sit down and hear your story. I know you've talked about it on your channels and stuff, but you're new to a lot of people, including myself. I was sort of binge watching you and JT and some of your, was it Ancient Angels podcast? So those are really cool. But yeah, we'll get into who you are and the whole casting out demon kind of thing, which I find fascinating. So let's see. And then I do have tabs and stuff. We can cover some of the stuff going on in the world if we get there. So we'll see what we got. Sure. So anyways, me, I started out bouncing around YouTube. It seems like 10 years or so, but it's been a good 8 years that I've been doing different things here. And I keep finding new groups. So originally I kind of was in the Flat Earth group. And then I found that they get limited because I left there because they don't want to talk about God. And, to me, that's all there really is to talk about, why we're going through these things and why our eyes have been open. And so I bounced out of that. And then I hung out with, people that talk about the melt, which is great, but they didn't want me talking about God either. So, okay. So then I've got the Christians and I was hanging out with them, but they don't like it when I talk about, I believe we're in the short season or little season thing, right? So I'm sort of bouncing around different groups. And then it must have been Trish, I think, sent me a video, JT, and how you were in it. And I believe, was he call him AA, Ron? Because there's two.
Yeah.
And it was the three of you, I guess, or it was just the two at the time. And I was excited because I didn't know. I mean, you've been doing this at least a year. I saw SeaWorld videos. So I didn't know other people were discussing this. Being in the end of the book, because I always say to my people, who are these people? I'd say to the people who watch me, there's people at the end of the book that have to be deceived. So why can't we be those people? Everyone wants to have to be the special people that go through Revelation and come back on a chariot with Jesus. Maybe not, that most likely already happened, as you've discussed and I've discussed, probably all the way back in 70 AD. And Josephus saw it and everyone saw it. And so there has to be somebody at the end of the book. Why can't we be those people? And so that's kind of where I've been sitting at with my channel. My awakening happened because I started looking into the lies of NASA and also satellites.
Oh, yeah.
Someone mentioned that satellites, when you look them up on Google search or whatever search engine, they're just cartoons. And so I started doing I'll print I started
they're
doing my research.
CGI.
Oh, what's that?
CGI is what they
Right.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, some kind of animation, exactly. And
Mhm.
one of the things I came across, which you can still find, it was this rocket when I was doing research on satellites, and it's this rocket here. It's called the Atlas Agena rocket, and it's supposedly depressurized and broke apart on the launch pad with rocket fuel, which is like the most flammable fuel there's supposed to be. And this thing, what I found interesting was right before it does that, it flashes and then it turns into a silver balloon. You see that?
Huh.
And I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. So then I kept looking more into these programs. You'll see all the rocket fuel splashed down. So to me, it just looked like it was like maybe a water balloon or something. I don't know what was in that thing, but the fact that the video cuts. And so once your eyes are open, you start looking at all these old videos and you start seeing these things. And so I went deeper into this whole subject about satellites. And it's on my channel. It's kind of a boring video because I used to, I didn't have screen share back then. So I just took another camera and filmed my screen. And I was looking at these satellite programs. There was the Mariner 6, 7, I think 8, and then 9. And I started noticing something. Oh, come on, computer.
I started noticing a pattern.
They all look like ceiling fans.
Mariner sat I thought.
They do look like ceiling fans slightly.
Right?
I see. I get it. Yeah.
Put in my living room.
See, so that's kind of how it all started with why I have this silly name. That's the Mariner 9. That's the one that supposedly went around Mars. That's sort of the name of this channel and the logo, I guess you'd say. And they forgot to take out the light chain. Isn't that great?
Ceiling fan.
Huh.
So you could see it. You could see it at night.
In any case, Mariner.
Yeah, look at that. That's one of the Mariners.
And
look,
if he had any other questions for me, I said, "Well, yeah,
Oh, that's interesting.
like a ceiling fan," and that's when they agreed.
Yeah.
It's just Mars and NASA up here and stuff.
I just know at this point.
So, anyways, so that's kind of how people say, "Why is your name Ceiling Fan Man?" I used to get people think that I worked on and repaired ceiling fans, and so I still get that a bit. So it's not quite as cool as a name as Demon Eraser, but we get stuck with the nomenclatures that we get stuck with, I guess. So
I like the ceiling fan man. I mean, it kind of gives the impression that you're just a little bit out there anyways. So hey, why not?
Oh, you know what? I usually play this guy when you say something truthful.
That's very true.
I like all my my handlers, but I got a new one just for you. Where is it? In case you said something really smart. Where'd it go?
In case.
Okay, here.
Now, who can argue with that? Reverend.
Great. No, that's great. And I would go further to suspect where do they get all these images from in the sky, and it's pretty obvious that they're all from balloons, and we don't have satellites, we have Sataloons, and the Sataloons are what float around. In fact, I have a friend that worked for a satellite company who I asked him about this, and I said, hey dude, like tell me about the satellite stuff, like tell me about the launching stuff, like I don't think we launch them. And he goes, I can't tell you if what you're saying in your theory is wrong or right. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, and I work for the company. I was like, are you kidding me right now? And he was like, yeah. He goes, to be completely honest, they segregate the launches so separate from the people that build and do all the stuff. We don't even know the correlation. And I was like, are you serious right now? I'm like, look up satellite launch. And I showed him that the satellites were launched from balloons. And he was like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. The guy that worked there never thought of it. It's to the point where he was just like, oh my gosh, they could be launched by balloons and we would never know. He goes, I don't know. And so I explained that to him and told him and here's a simple thing. All you got to look up, guys, is look up every crashed satellite image. If you type in crashed satellite into Google, every single crashed satellite image will be fake, A, or B, it will have a tethered line to it with a balloon attached to it. Every single one.
And
so
they all
you start looking at it.
And
You're
you
like,
can add a caveat on top of that. NASA is the largest purchaser of helium. So what's
exactly.
that about?
For the and they don't use it for rocket fuel. They supposedly use it as an insulator for the cooler temperatures. That's what they supposedly use it for. But it's the second coldest or material that they could use. They could actually use another material that would be even better. But yet they use helium for some strange reason. And it's like, and it's like, dude, there's even one that's even lighter and would be better for conduction purposes. You're using helium because it's in a balloon. It's a lighter, it's better for floating.
And they show you pictures of satellites in space, and then you say, okay, let's for a second pretend that's real. Who took the photo? Is there another secondary satellite following that satellite around to take the photo of the first satellite? It's like,
oh yeah. You know, in the 60s, we floated a frog in 0 Gs. I don't know if you know about this. Do you know about this?
You personally at your school?
No. I mean, like the government or whatever. You can type it in. Type in floating frog in 0 G. Floating frog 0 G footage. And this was in the 60s, so it was black and white footage still, I think. I think it was the 60s. But they floated a frog with giant magnets. Like zero gravity floating frog. Type in zero gravity floating frog. Probably, I don't know how to find it, but it's a black and white clip and you'll find it. And it's like, dude, that was done zero gravity floating frog. Now that was done way back in the day inside of a chamber that we've done for a very long time. Now if we could do that floating a frog with big magnets back in the day, what is to make you think that we didn't continue that experiment? Okay, like what is to make you think that experiment wasn't continued further to the point where we can float a frog much better now? You know what I mean? Like, dude, that would be very foolish to assume that technology didn't continue. In fact, I think that's one of the hidden secrets of NASA.
Well, I found this one. Zero gravity frog in
amphibians is being studied with a total of 4 aquatic frogs.
Well, that's supposedly in space, so I don't know if I would say that one. But there's the one where it's like in a little tiny tube. It's in a circle, and it's just literally like a little tiny tube, and you'll see that the frog is floating in like a 0 degree, and they supposedly created it from magnets. So they used magnets to create this 0 G floating space to show the frog floating in 0 G. And so if you're like thinking, well, if they could do that then how much more can they do now? Let me see here. I'll show it to you here. I'll share my screen. You want me to share my screen and show it?
Go ahead. And then I have another thing about satellites. So after that,
say that.
I have something about satellites after that. So
here. I'll share it. Let's see. Share screen, and then share this entire screen, and then boom. Check this out. So this was a super cool cooling stuff, it looks like. And they've got a chamber.
Can you look?
They've got this frog here.
Oh, great. Don't walk, don't touch it.
Poor frog. What'd he ever do to anyone?
I know. They're floating this grasshopper in it, some plant.
That's just.
So they're doing these experiments. They're doing probably, I don't know. They're doing some experiments, it looks like, and they were floating objects. And this one was done in the 90s. This one, 1997. What on earth makes you think that we haven't gotten better at floating things? Like, bro, if they're doing that to small stuff in the 90s, like, bro, come on. Like, dude, they've made, and that's like an experiment for someone's backyard. I know NASA was working on this. So I guarantee you we have whole rooms where people are floating in 0 G now, and that's how they fake a lot of the footage that you see the scientists on the National Space Station and where they're like in 0 G. Yeah. It's not just CGI, all of it. It's because they're actually in a zero gravity containment compartment. Well, I think
if you watch some of those old ones, they had the plane, with the 0 G plane.
Yeah.
And you can actually hear like the sound of like engines, really loud engines in some of the videos. And then all of a sudden it goes away when they're not doing it on the 0 G, they're doing it on the sound stage. It's kind of funny. You can hear the audio differences. And then if we were to believe satellites, you know what? This is kind of scary space news. Let me just hit that and I'll show you the satellite thing here.
This week in scary space news.
I don't know how old you are, if you were familiar with David Letterman, but that's why this show's kind of like goofy, I guess, with the name and everything. And I have all these drops, so don't get stuck in those if you end up. I like the way you guys do it. You don't have to get tied to all these drops. But in any case, check this out. There's a thing called the Kessler syndrome. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's a theoretical scenario proposed by Donald Kessler in 1978 that the density of space in low Earth orbit can become so oversaturated with big satellites, small, medium, large, eventually the collision would trigger a chain reaction of multiple collisions, and it can explode. So, I mean, talk about dangerous, but honestly, look at this is what they say. This is how many satellites they say are currently spinning around the ball, BAAL, that we live on. And you can see it goes all the way up to, let's go up to year 2025, 14,000. Come on. So all of this is outside spinning around our ball, and nothing crashes into anything, and it runs perfectly. Nothing ever has to be replaced. No gaskets, blow out from the intense heat and cool, heat and cool, right?
They're not even under the protection of the supposed ionosphere, so like technically they should be getting radiated and being cooked like majorly.
That's what they say is around us. Is that crazy? It's so insane. So yeah. So there you go. That's what they say is happening with satellites. I say no. And then of course, they have their this guy Elon Musk. And what does he do? He shows you another one of his fake rocket ships, and he writes, "This is not AI." That's like when somebody says, "Let me talk to you honestly," and you go, "Wait, you haven't been?" It's like you have to say it's not AI. It's totally AI. And when the one crashed down, did you see where the dolphins swam around it and stuff? It looked so ridiculous.
Oh, that was so fake. That was absurd.
And then NASA is apparently building houses on the moon in 2040. Although this might get backed up a bit because the Artemis,
just a little bit.
Yeah, the Artemis, of course, didn't go off as planned. There was a fuel leak, shockingly, and so they push it back. I'm actually been in contact with Airbnb and see if I can't cut into some of this. Right?
That's a great idea.
I mean, you're gonna have houses. People are gonna want to go. They can't live there forever, so it's probably like a rental.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, shoot.
Maybe
get in on it while it's new.
Right. Maybe I shouldn't have said it online, but anyways, I'll try to make an Airbnb ad. So there's that. And then what's next? What is this one? Oh, this I never knew happened, but this was called this is the rendezvous pitch maneuver, the RPM.
Initiating RPM 3, 2, 1, mark.
That activity coordinated with the crew on board the International Space Station to allow flight engineers Yuri Malenchenko and Clay Anderson to photograph Discovery's heat shield.
How the heck are they doing this?
Yeah, who filmed that?
Right, exactly. Well, there's two questions now. Who filmed that? And I didn't see them like shoot like something to like make the plane flip over. Why isn't it just flipping all the time then?
Focusing on the tiles on the underside.
And I remember when one of these shuttles went up and they lost some heat shield tiles, they stuck duct tape on it. I remember that. I was like, wow, that'd be a great ad for duct tape. Tape. So yeah, I guess the space station they say was filming this, but I don't see them hitting any kind of jet to make it flip around. It just magically did it because they willed it, I guess. Right?
Yeah, that's how you do it, don't you know? You use your mind powers.
A little mind power, yeah.
Yeah, that's how the rocket ships work. It's
they manifest it.
Yeah.
Where's my guys? Let's see. I'll give you these guys.
True. Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's see. I've given a quick version of who I am and how I kind of ended up here, and found you through JT. And where do you want to go with your story and what you do and so forth? So,
I mean, what you know about the little season. You want to talk about little season stuff? I mean, like how deep are you into that?
Pretty deep. It started where I was like starting to notice, because I like to read the Bible, and I think there's a very small percentage of people that actually keep reading the Bible. You can find people that said, I've read it all the way through a few times, but maybe they haven't touched it in years. And the thing about the living word is every time every time you read it, it's almost like, wow, how did I miss that little chapter? How did I miss that word or sentence? It just, either it wasn't there or it's there and we just didn't have the eyes to see it. And at that moment, it was important. And so I started seeing all of these connections, because I got really into the destruction that you can see of these melted buildings and how they're buried under, tons of mud, and also how they're melted and some are half and half, and started to question, like, how did it happen? Who did it and why? And unless you actually look at the Bible and start reading that, you really don't know the answers to that, because he talks about there's multiple destructions of different cities throughout the Bible. It's not just Sodom and Gomorrah. There's multiple times. And then there's also times that I feel like we might even have some change in what we can do in this day and age, because the people of Nineveh, they changed their hearts and God spared them. So, even I feel the whole story is written out except the short season. Because if you read the Bible, that's really the only section, other than the ones I won't get into, like, oh, they took out this book and took out that book. I get it. I understand the Bible's been messed with. But overall, there's just one period that isn't really written about. And I believe that's because it's a period that we're living in. Because why would God tell you, oh, in 2 years this will happen, and then people just kick up their feet? We're writing it, we're living through it as it's happening. And so when I started connecting the melted things that I saw with the scriptures, and then the breakdown of Jesus's word, when he's like, this generation, this will pass, and you'll see it. And he tells the Roman soldier that pierced him, you'll see me. And unless they're living forever, it doesn't make any sense. He tells the high priest that he would see it, and so when you start putting all those pieces together, he was telling him that he was coming quickly. I've done the things with JT about the churches, all the churches that are written about in the letters, what is it, by Paul, they're all gone. They're all decimated.
Yeah, they're done.
So that makes sense if it's written about that time and not this time. And since I was born, I didn't put this piece in. I was born and raised Jewish. So I was taught not to read the Bible, even though I learned the Torah and didn't realize I was reading part of the Bible. And it wasn't until years later when I started watching YouTube things and everyone was like, this is a battle, God and Satan and evil and good. So they all told me the same thing, but don't read the Bible. So you tell me not to do something, I'm going to do it. So I started reading it like God says, like with the eyes of a child, because I didn't have any church dispensationalism to like say, no, this is about people 2,000 years from now. And so when I just read it for the words that Jesus is saying, he's talking about events that are coming. Why would he tell you, be fruitful and multiply, but then woe to those with child, like don't have any children? Why would he want that for 2,000 years? He wouldn't, he was talking about then. And then when you look into the Daniel prophecy where they have the temple and then it's destroyed and they stopped sacrificing. Well, we haven't sacrificed in so many years. So they would literally have to, tear down the black cube and put up a new temple, the third temple, which isn't written about in the Bible, but it is in the Talmud and all that. Put up a third temple, start sacrificing their red heifers or whatever, and then stop again. And that doesn't make any sense to me. So I started putting all the puzzle pieces together. And then, of course, everyone yelled at me I was a preterist, but I didn't even know what that was. I just started learning it on my own. And that's kind of where I came to this place and time that I feel I'm at. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. But this feels like everything fits when you put it.
No, yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. Now, what do you think we are? Do you think we're the children of the dead in Revelation 20? What do you think we are? Because I've come to the conclusion that I think we might be in chapter 20. We're the children of the rest of the dead is what I think we are. But I don't know what your opinion is on that.
No, that makes sense. I mean, again, now you're connecting like the cities that were founded and the orphan trains and all that stuff. There's a generation that just has forgotten everything and they rewrote our history. Isn't it wonderful? I was talking to my wife the other day. It's like, wow, the good guys have won every major war ever in history. What are the odds?
What are the odds? It's a pretty funny one. No, I think it says right here, it says they came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. The rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years was ended. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy are the ones who share in the first resurrection. Over such the second death had no power. But they will be priests of God in Christ and will reign with them for 1,000 years. Now, I don't know if you know this about Sikhism, but Sikhism is actually a form of millennial reign Christianity. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. And so what do you know what the Sikhs are? Do you know what I'm talking about when I talk about Sikhs?
I know the Sikhs are.
Yeah. So do you know they wear the turban on their head?
Correct.
Yeah. And do you know they call themselves kings and priests? Isn't that funny? And so they call themselves kings and priests. That's why they wear the turban. And you know what else they don't do is after they get baptized, they don't cut their hair. And do you know what they have the word in their language in Hindu or Hindi speak? It's like literally it's nazar, which means vision, to see. And it comes from what they call Christians. They call them Nazarenes.
Oh,
Nazarene, because it's a Nazareth.
Right.
Jesus of Nazareth, Nazar, vision, to see, Nazarene. And so Jesus is the Nazarene or the Nazareth. And that's in their language. And so their whole term is they had 10 gurus. Well, there's the 10 commandments. And you're like, huh? And one of their gurus is a book. Well, there's the Bible. It's just a perversion of Christianity that's been distorted as their last guru. And they don't know where the last guru went. About 500 years ago, the gurus just disappeared. It's like the gurus were the saints and they don't even understand it. And Krishna, Guru Krishna, has made the seeing eye, made the blind eye see and the mute mouth speak. Krishna? You mean Christ? Christ, not Hare Krishna. Christ is their guru that made the blind eye see and the mute mouth speak. Sounds a whole lot like Christ to me, not Guru Krishna. But the thing is, they don't even know it. And in fact, they believe they're kings and priests and they only worship one God. The Sikh says there's one God. And they say no idols is not good, like temples and Buddhist statues and all that stuff. They say that's no good. You're not supposed to have any of that. You only worship one God. And you're like, whoa, like a lot about Sikhism sounds like Christianity, except it's Christianity from the millennial reign. It's a millennial reign Christianity that's been a perversion. And so when you start digging into it more, they even understand like prophetic dreams. So like they have this word in their culture. I forget the name of it, but it's a dream when you fall asleep and you wake up in the morning, and they call it morning dreams. But it's a term in their culture that means if you have a dream in the morning, you're more likely to come true. Now, something people don't understand a lot in Christianity is if you force yourself to sleep, you are more likely to have a prophetic dream. If you go to sleep when you're tired, it's different. But if you lay down in the middle of the day and say, Lord, show me something, you're more likely to have a prophetic dream. So when people wake up in the morning and they check the time, they're like, oh, I'm too tired, I'm just going to go back to sleep. And you force yourself back to sleep, even though you've been woken up. A lot of times people will have prophetic dreams. And so that's usually, it's a very common thing. But Christians have forgotten that, unfortunately. But the Hindus remember it, or the Sikh people remember it. And there's literally a term in their culture for it. So
now, who can argue with that? Reverend.
Good time.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
So it's a pretty interesting thing when you start looking into it, because you're like, whoa, like all of these correlations can't be systematic. You know, Sikhs are told to always carry a sword on them. Okay. To have a silver bracelet. They all have a silver bracelet. They all have to wear the turban after they get baptized. Why do they even think of baptism? Why do they even have a concept of sin in their culture? They literally have sin in their culture. Where did that come from? And it's like, and they carry a sword. Why do they all carry a sword? Because Jesus said, if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and carry a sword. And so they're following the message of Jesus. That's why they all have to have a knife or a sword on them. And it's literally, it's straight up from the Bible, but they don't even know that it's from the Bible. Their whole religion is from the Bible, their entire religious perspective. You can look at stuff about Sikhism and you can see exactly where it came from in the biblical text. And it's fascinating. It's so fascinating. So, but it's a post-millennial Christianity. It was like one of the first religions resurrected after Christ disappeared. And that's why they believe that their gurus just disappeared.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I knew a guy that's a Sikh. He sold gemstones, and I just assumed he was armed, you know, because he sold gemstones. I didn't have the eyes back then or the care to even like question and start break down, you know, some of this. So that's really cool to I'll see if I can ever find his number and get in touch with him, see what he thinks. But
Bro,
I,
you talk
I,
to Sikh people about this, and you ask them about even their gurus. They have Guru Namka, I believe his name is, but it's Namka goes into the water 40 days and 4 days and 4 nights.
yeah.
Noah goes into the water 40 days and 40 nights. So it's like even their gurus actually reflect characters of the Bible. So the more you look at their religion, there's obviously perversions over time that have distorted some of it. But when you look at it, you're like, that's Noah. That one's Isaiah. That one's Samson. And you're just like, all you got to do is just look and read their stories and know the Bible, and you'll be like blown away. Like, it's so fascinating.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed like it seems like the original story starts, and then as the tree grows, it branches out. You know, when Jesus shows up, that's where the Jews, because I was born and raised that way, they branch away, and the Muslims are doing it, and then all of a sudden Ishmael shows up, and they go that way. And so you can see it branching out, and just a ton of like different Christian versions and Catholics and stuff. So it makes sense that the Sikh is just one more branch in that original tree. I mean, we're all living in the same stratosphere, little biodome as everyone else, and people are just looking at it differently with different eyes. But
it's a good thing to use a tree. I use that same example. So like when you look at old religions like Zeus and the Greek mythology, or the Zoroastrianism, or you look at Hinduism at the beginning, not now, but the beginning forms of it. All of those religions, those are old world religions, and these are all pre-Christian religious perspectives. And even old Judaism, which we don't even know what that is anymore because it's been wiped off the face of the planet Earth when Josephus resurrected it. So new Judaism is not the same as old Judaism whatsoever. In fact, new Judaism is actually more akin to Babylonianism. In fact, there's somebody who was reading like Babylonian text and like the Talmud, and it like lined up like identically in so many different ways. So it's actually a form of Talmudic or Talmudism is a form of Babylonian mysticism, essentially. And they're like one in the same, today's form of it, at least not what it was back in the day. But it's very fascinating when you start looking at a lot of this stuff, because it's like what's really happened here is like Christianity. So like what happened is like there was the old world religions, which are all tethered to the Nephilim. And then Jesus shows up, wipes everything out. It gets reset. The world starts over. Everything's new. And then out of those ashes, the real form of Christianity is steady for like 1,000 years. And then after that, all of a sudden you get these little offshoots, and Judaism is born, and the Muslims are born. And do you know one of the original names for the Muslims when they were born? Do you know what it was? No. It was Saracens. They were called Saracens. Sarah sin. That's weird. Sarah's sin, like Sarah, like Sarai in the Bible. Like what are you talking about? That's originally what they were called. They were called the sin of Sarah. And you're like, strange, like such a weird name to say, because they're the descendants of of Sarah, apparently, in some capacity. And so you start looking into it, and you start realizing like all of these word associations have meanings. But basically the Muslims and Judaism were one of the first two groups of religions that sprouted out of Christianity as offshoots. Okay. And so everybody was in peace. And then the old resurrection of the old gods started coming about, and Judaism was formed, but Talmudic Judaism, totally different, and like has a lot of like occultic practices when you reach a certain age and you get indoctrinated into it, but not in the beginning. Obviously it's good for children in capacity, but when you get to the older parts, it starts to get real gnarly. So you get like the Talmudic Judaism gets sprouted out of this. And then all of a sudden you get the Muslims start sprouting out of this. And then Hinduism starts subtly resurrecting. And then Hinduism and then Sikhism breaks off like this. And so these religions start branching out of Christianity. And then you get Buddhism, which is just another form of Christianity. It's in fact, Taoism and Buddhism are like, they're like one and the same with Christianity. In fact, like it's just like they just took Jesus out. That's it. It's the same principles, which is without Jesus. And so you're like, oh, that's crazy. So it's like, and then Judaism, basically it's same. They took principles of like really Satanism in a lot of ways, and then self idolization, and then removed Jesus. And then the Muslims, they still kept it. But guess what? All of these religious perspectives, they all believe in a resurrecting second coming sort of thing. And you're like, well, or what's the second coming? They all believe in an event that's coming. And you're like, that's so interesting. They all believe in an event that's coming because it already came, i.e. 70 AD, but this is a perversion after the millennial reign. And so even the Muslims say that Jesus is coming back. You're like, where did you get that from?
Yeah.
And then in the 1800s, all of Christianity was the only Christianity tried to stay as pure to it as long as it could on the tree. But in the 1800s, Christianity went bloop and split into all the different sects of Christianity that we have today. And you got in the 1800s, you get Mormonism, you get Seventh-day Adventists, you get like all of them, and they all branched from this belief that Judaism was basically the still valuable and still important today, and that they're still God's chosen people and all this stuff, blah blah blah. That's nonsense. And when that created idea permeated into Christianity just blew up into this form of all these death cults, actually. So a lot of Christianity is like a big death cult, because what are they waiting for? They're waiting for Jesus to show up and everybody to die, and I just get to zap away into the sky. That's wicked, bro. That's not Jesus. That's not love. That's a death cult. And so all of the Christian world perspectives in the 1800s became a bunch of death cults. It literally, finally, this satanic agenda permeated into what was the truest branch the whole time that survived all this distortion. And then it became, Israel's got to become a nation again. Oh my gosh. And then everybody just went bleh. And then literally you get Mormons was 1830, I think. And then Seventh-day Adventist, and then was 1860 or something. And then there was what was the other major ones? They all started, all the ones that started saying the third temple must be built, all started in the 1800s, really. And then it just started like advancing from there. And so like all the distortions happened. And then that's what we're at today.
Like our whole hero, you get this.
That's very true.
You notice a lot of our history seems to all just permeate right around 17 to 1800. You know, all of a sudden, all our history started off then. You know, it's like nothing was going on before that.
That's when the tree split. That's when the tree, a religion, just kind of broke into pieces. That was when Christianity got finally permeated. Christianity, I believe, was holding true through a lot of these branching off things, but when it really hit Christianity, it was just boom, and it just shattered it into all these different little subsects.
And do you feel that because, like you said, since it is like one, you know, Revelation, the book of Revelation, it's the scariest book in the Bible. It's really interesting because when I decided to finally read the Bible, I'm like, well, I'll go to the end and just see how it shakes out. And if you haven't read the Bible before, do not do that.
I wouldn't suggest that one.
It was terrifying. You know, it's like, this is not good. So, but yeah, it's interesting. Like, because of that, maybe that's why the rapture comes about from the church too. Because, you know, I did a little video.
That was when it was invented in the 1700s.
Yeah, because I did a little video on that too. Because there's three types of people. You believe it's going to happen pre-trib,
post-trib,
mid-trib, or post-trib. And I was like, wow. So, you know, they're even arguing over that. But my takeaway is this: when I woke up and I realized there's no accidents, I'm here for a reason, like everyone else. God's planned me to be here at this moment in time. Why would I then want to be raptured out of here? I want to be here to like help and do the things that I was told to do, to even when I don't realize I'm reaching someone. And that was my purpose, to be here, to be raptured and miss out and then look back and go, ha, you suckers, you're going through it. To me, it's not very Christian.
It's not at all.
We were supposed to pick up our cross, which was it's a device of torture to him, and carry it. You know, he didn't say we're going to Hawaii. He said we're going to be through some trouble, just like he was. And so to me, that was the rapture's like anti that. And so I never really, I didn't have it in my head anyways, but I never bought into that.
Well, we're not looking back to you know, beheading people. That's not like we're going to go back to that anymore to anytime soon. You know, I mean, it's such a practice that we've basically ruled out of our society. And another thing is that, you know, it says this in you know, you mentioned that like the fact that this shouldn't be happening, like it's not very Christian like, right? You're like, that's not a very Christian thought to think like, oh, I'm going to be zapped out of here. Well, what does the text actually say? Like, you know, the word rapture, do you know what it comes from?
No, keep going. I know what you mean.
Rapazo, okay, or raptura, or guess what else sounds like that word? It's called grape. Okay, rapture means to be taken away violently by force. Grape, I'm saying it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
not
I
to
hear
be
you.
banned here. That word is a bad word. It is not a good word. So when they say the rapture of the church, it's literally saying the graping of the church. That's what
I
they're
never
saying.
looked at it that way. Yeah.
They're telling you what it is. It's disgustingly terrible, ripping you away into a false ideology because now you're selfish and now you just think about you and you're like, oh, I just got to be good. So that way everybody else can just die and burn while I just go to heaven one
saved,
day.
always saved. And then you're out of here and screw you guys. Yeah. I'm going home.
Dude. It's so disturbing.
I want to thank, God bless you. What is this? Alan Robert, thank you so much. Jesus loves each of you. Keep shining your light. Thank you. God bless you. I do appreciate all my fans and people that like, share, and subscribe, but also the people that support me monetarily. So thank you so much. God bless you.
Yes.
So, okay.
And also, like, here's the other thing. It gets crazy. Like do you know what the real rapture, it already happened, by the way, because if you read that verse, it says one will be standing, one will be taken, one will be left, one will be in the field, one will be taken, one will be left. It says 2 men will be at the mill, one will be taken, one will be left. And they say, where, Lord, where will they be taken? And it says, where their dead bodies lie, the vultures will gather. What? That don't sound like getting caught up into the sky. That sounds a whole lot more like graping, doesn't it? Oh yeah, it sure does. You know, we have evidence of a big mass graping, if you will. You know what it's called? It's called the Catacombs. You ever seen it? Yeah, the Catacombs, where all the people died all at once, where they told you, oh no, they died over like a 200 span period because we believe carbon dating is right? No, those are massive catacombs that go on for miles. Bro, what do you think? We dug up a bunch of people's graves, left their bones out so that way they would be sun bleached, because some of them are sun bleached, and then we just like dried them up and then peeled off all their skin and their flesh and their clothes. And we took just the bones, just the skulls and the leg bones, and we stacked them in a tunnel that we dug, massive grave tunnel that we dug, because why wouldn't we just dig this mile-long maze of tunnels? No, fool. That was literally Jesus and the saints said something, snapped their fingers, made some tunnels, and then just took all y'all dead bodies, bones, after the vultures ate you, which, by the way, there's no finger bones hanging out in the catacombs. Okay, it's just leg bones and skulls and arms. And guess what? You know what's interesting about that? There's not a whole lot of finger bones. Vultures eat finger bones. Vultures eat all the small bones because they dissolve them in the stomach, but they don't digest leg bones and skulls very easily because they can't fit them in their mouth. But they'll fit your fingers in your mouth. So you ever heard of a sky burial? That's what happens. Sky burial, when they leave a person out to be consumed by vultures, the only bones left are the legs and the skulls. They eat all the other parts. So when you look at it, you're like, oh, that's why all those bones in the catacombs are just the leg bones and the skulls, because the vultures ate them all. That's
Now, who can argue with that? Robert.
I like it. I like it. And there's bones under the Vatican, and they have them in podiums and stuff. It's like some really creepy stuff they do out there.
Well, there's like 9 different or more different catacomb sections throughout the world where it's just piles of bones. The ones in France go on for miles. We don't even know the ends of some of these things. Just bones for miles. Who do you think built these catacomb spaces? Anyways, like just to bury stuff?
It's that thing that they say, the lie is so big that nobody can comprehend it. They just dismiss it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've walked to Europe, but God bless me, where my wife and I got to go there and see some of these buildings. And wow, you take pictures and videos, you go, that's amazing. Okay, what should we get for lunch? Like, you don't sit down and think, okay, this says it was built in like 10 years in the 1800s with hand tools. And it's, 6 miles high and full of glass. And it doesn't make any sense. But it was so big of a lie, we never even questioned it. The fact that people were not even, I can say, smarter, but I mean, with the machines now, we're all getting dumbed down. But they had technologies and they knew things that we didn't know. Lost technologies, I believe, from like you have said on your channels, the ancient angels that came down and taught us these things. And so I believe that when the flood happened, the buildings and stuff that were there present weren't just necessarily like a bunch of mud huts and people wrapped in animal skins like they want us to believe. I think God did a smackdown, not just because the earth was corrupt by the angels mixing with men or women, but also it's like that whole Tower of Babel. I mean, the people that built the Tower of Babel, I think they had technology that we don't have nowadays. It was wiped from our memories when all this went through and was shaken out. First time in the flood and then in Revelation. And I find interesting, here's a wild thing. So you have the flood, right?
Mhm.
And only one family survives. So
Yep.
I would imagine that they would be telling that story at dinner every night. Wow, isn't that flood something, you know? And then they'd have kids and they'd be telling their kids and their grandkids, and it would be passed down. I mean, how could you ever forget? Everything got wiped out. You know what I mean? And but yet when you read the stories and you get to Abraham and he's like in whatever his mid 20s or something, God mentions in there that he was the last righteous man. So it's like, how did we go from a complete flood to now we're back in the same situation again? You know what I mean? Isn't that fascinating? So it's amazing that it's no question that's why we're here again, is because whatever happened, the shakedown, the resets, whatever you want to say, we've lost the thread. We don't know who we are. We don't believe God exists. We think we're a flying ball through space, and yet none of that's true. And so we end up with like technology, and then we think we're the smartest ones. We're not. Like when I was growing up, I knew everyone's phone number because you didn't have a phone. You had to
Yeah, you
go
had to
find a
memorize it.
payphone, and you needed a dime on you, and then you had to call them. Nowadays, I know 3 people's phone number memorized because everyone has just a speed dial. And one of them is my father, God rest his soul. He's not going to help me. So, you know what I mean? It's like we're a dumber generation. The technology's more advanced, but I still think it's nowhere near what it was like back then. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that you're kind of right in some capacity, because I think that our mind has been turned to mush with all this technological advancements. In a lot of ways, our mind's been made into like mush space. And so with that sort of mushness in our mind, like how can we determine anything really? And so I think what's going on now is like we're literally just we're experiencing a different kind of technology, I think. But I definitely think that we're dumber as a species. I think there was so many people. I think Adam and Eve and all them people, all the people before us, were intellectually drastically more aware, or intellectually aware. And so I think that we have just decreased in intelligence and decreased in size to the point where, I mean, like, how many people of us all are borderline autistic now, and we all got Down syndrome, and I mean, like, it's just, you can see it today's society. Go talk to any 20-year-old or belower and have a conversation with them, and they're like borderline retarded. Like, I mean, that's a bad word to say, right? I'm not allowed to say that word on YouTube. Shoot, I'm sorry, but but we'll say they're special.
They're challenged.
They're specially challenged, and go talk to them. And like, bro, you try to talk to them today, and it's like, bro, they're like, they don't even know how to communicate. They're like, and I'm like, what is going on with you people? What is wrong with you guys? Like 20-year-olds and below, like, oh my gosh, like something has been put in your water. I don't even know, man.
I feel like my generation, Generation X, was like one of the main experiment generations, because we got the televised vision. It had been introduced right before we were kids, and it became a focal point of the house, and it started to break up the families in the 70s, and
it's totally ruined people.
Right. And so
completely ruined the family unit entirely. TBS.
Right. And so that's part of the whole deception, is to break apart the family, a house divided against itself kind of thing, and make women feel like being a stay-at-home mom and taking care of your family and raising them in a godly manner is a bad thing. Unless you have a career behind you, you're a failure. And so, they started separating that, and more divorces and all this stuff started breaking it apart. But that I feel that the television, because I found out
the lying vision.
Kid, the tell lies vision ended up. Have you seen the thing they had? And when, again, I don't know how old you are, but they used to, at the end of the night, the tell lies vision would turn off like at 1 a.m. or something, and they would play the national anthem, and they would have like American flags and things across the screen, but you can still find it on YouTube. They took that and they slowed it down because the words come across the screen. And as the words fade in and fade out, they also write certain things like, obey government and things like that.
Wow.
It's the subliminal stuff that they were introducing to us back then. And, they've mentioned it, they supposedly got caught, in the movie theaters where they would flash like popcorn and things to make you hungry and go to the concession stands. Right. And
I've heard something like this.
Okay. So where I'm going with this is there's a thing I want you to hear that, where is it? It's real interesting. This is one of those things that'll blow your mind. I think. Let's see. Clickety click. Okay. Where are we at? Here we go. All right. Can you see that? And hear it? Can you hear this?
Be a sound that will change.
You hear that?
Yep.
Okay. So he's going to play a sound, and then he's going to play it again, and it's going to change the way you hear the sound, and you'll never be able to hear it the other way. You ready?
You're hearing forever.
Wait, no. I don't want to hear it.
First, I want you to listen to this. Tell me what you hear. Okay. What do you hear?
It was a sunny day and the children were going to the park.
Alien, like bing.
Okay. So that's the sound. I'm going to play it one more time because once you hear it the new way, you'll never hear it this way again. You ready?
Tell me what you hear. Okay. What do you hear?
It was a sunny day and the children were going to the park.
Alien, like bing.
Just like robots, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna play you another sound, and once I play you this sound, it's straight up gonna change you forever.
Okay.
Ready?
It was a sunny day and the children were going to the park.
Okay. Because you heard that, I'm gonna replay the other sound.
Okay.
And tell me what you hear.
It was a sunny day and the children were going to the park.
Oh, you're here.
Did you hear it?
Oh yeah, I heard it for sure.
Yeah. So now check out what he says. It's interesting.
Voice now.
I hear it.
And you hear it.
I hear it.
And you can never not hear it anymore. That was the original audio.
Oh, that was the. Are you sure?
So what this does, it changes your brain because it gave you more information. And now you're subconsciously listening. This is where it gets scary.
Okay.
Because that's exactly what's being played to us every single day.
What you mean?
Music, with news, with media, we're subconsciously being taught different things, waiting to hear an outcome that we already know. So we're not really in control anymore. And it's very subconscious. Actually,
that is a really that's a really interesting idea. And I will I'll tell you, I actually heard that. I heard this clip before. So the first.
Oh, you have? Okay. Oops.
Played it.
Wait,
I'm back.
I hit the wrong button. There we go.
It's all right. The first time you played it is even more interesting to me because I was actually waiting to see if I would have, because I forgot what it said. And he's right. It's stuck in my mind still. So even I forgot totally what that said was, but when you played it the first time, I heard and recognized it. So it did actually stick in my mind. Very interestingly. But the first time I heard it, I didn't process what it said. It was just like, well, wow, 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 sound like scribble sounds. But the second time, and it actually does. Now I know when it goes to, it's going to change you forever in some regard. I don't know about that, but I do know that pattern recognition is like in my mind for whatever that sound was, to the point where I heard it and I could totally make out what it was saying. Which is very fascinating.
What's interesting too is, and I put the link in the chat, people are asking for that. My wife and I, we got free tickets to a concert out here several years back, and it's a group called Foreigner. Now, when I was growing up in the 80s, they were huge. I only owned one Foreigner album. It was Foreigner 4. Everyone bought that, it seemed. But other than that, I didn't own any of their albums. But they played them so much on the radio that when my wife and I went to this concert, we were like, hey, it's free tickets. Why not go? We were shocked. We knew every single word to every single song, and we'd never bought their albums. We just heard it so much that we knew it. We were shocked. We were looking at each other like, I can't believe I know this. And so there's this whole subtext, subliminal thing that goes on throughout our lives that the enemy has been using on us forever. And it only makes sense because when you look back at, say, the people in the 60s and 70s, if they wanted to like do this thing that they did to us in 2020, I wonder how many people would be like, oh, I can only walk this way through the grocery store and then I have to walk that way to do the next. You know what I mean? Like, how many people would have gone for that? But we've gotten to the point where we were so indoctrinated. I think they kept testing the water. They probably had AI testing us for decades to see where we're at. And the frog's just ready to boil. And I think that's when they unleashed whatever this is happening. But at the same time, I feel that's why God is opening up so many people's eyes and awakening us so we can see what's happening. Because if this is the little season repeat of Revelation, in Revelation, not only did the spirit of, the evil was out there, but the Spirit of God gets poured out. And so I believe that's what's happening too, is that more of us are seeing this deception that we're living through, and hopefully more, listen to podcasts like this and do their own research. So.
Dude, I agree. And I think that's pretty fascinating. And, another thing is that, when it comes to subliminal messaging, they're doing this in songs all the time. You ever heard like any of the songs that are popular on the radio? I've heard them so many times on the radio, like you were saying, when I used to listen to music. I don't listen to music at all anymore. But I used to listen to this stuff, and I just remember not being like, what did they say? What did they say? What did they say? Like, and not knowing what they say. But the moment I'm told what they say in the song, then I hear it every time the song plays. I hear it every single time.
Right.
There's a few songs where it's like someone says something else. Doesn't that sound like this? They say this in the song, and then you get stuck hearing the other version of the words, which is not the original lyrics, but it's kind of funny. I've heard a few different songs like that where they do that as well. Yeah. And then every time you go to hear it, you can only hear the sort of made up, funny, silly, altered version of it. But there is some kind of subliminal understanding that's being played into our minds. This is spell casting. These are how words work. This is how manipulation and witchcraft is functioning. It's functioning through spell casting, just like this. So yeah, this is absolutely going on, and people are just they're not necessarily paying attention to it, but it's definitely manipulating. It's a form of witchcraft. It is literally what people are doing.
Yeah, and words matter. Just the fact that we call it spelling. You know what I mean? It's like, God spoke everything into existence. It's still reverberating today. So when Jesus would do things, like he'd talk to the water and he'd say, "Be still," or words would actually come out and create the reality, however you want to say that. And so, spell casting, they gave us this language, the language of the slaves, I believe. This is really the dumbest language there is, and they're trying to make it worldwide,
English language is a satanic language. I tell people this all the time. It's an occultic language. It comes from English, which is from Anglo-Saxon, which is from angels of sexton, which is angel sex. It means sex with angels. That's literally Anglo-Saxon is angelo sex. It's it's not Anglo. People will argue and be like, no, Anglo-Saxon means angler sect, because Saxon, by the way, it means sect. It means group. Okay. Yeah. And Anglo-Saxon means angler. They'll tell you it means angler. Saxon means fish people. It means the people that fish. No, it doesn't. It means a group of fishermen. That's what you think Anglo-Saxon means. No, Anglo-Saxon means angel sex. It means a group of Nephilim. That's what it means. And it literally means it means those that were part angel, Anglo-Saxon, Saxon group, half angel, part angel. That's what it means. And this is what became English or English, angelish. That's what it is. Like all of this is like that. It's all an occultic Nephilim language. So that's what it is. And but just people are unaware of it. So
yeah, those that have eyes to see, and there's another aspect. I didn't talk with you. I believe in the Mandela effect, but one of the passages that changed was a huge one for me, is that my people perish for lack of knowledge. And I only read the KJV, and that's now been changed to my people are destroyed. So it's similar, but not the same,
Huh.
So, and I feel the here, I'll tell you real quick, my feelings on the Mandela effect. When I study that, I tried to find out three things: who's doing it, how they're doing it, and why. And then I realized after, all the time I spent on it, we'll never know, at least in this lifetime, who's doing it, how they're doing it, or why. What I do know is everything is under God's control. And so if he's allowing this to happen by whatever means, he wants us to see it. Why would he want us to see that? Because when I first looked into this, I felt like Wile E. Coyote going off the cliff, and I looked down, there's nothing beneath me. I mean, it really knocks you on your, out of your trance or whatever, to think that things can change on a molecular level that we can understand. And what I take away from that is God is continuing to let us know this is a spiritual battle. It's not about the flesh and blood. It's about, forces unseen and stuff. And by having these, quote, supernatural things happen to the Bible and to other things in the world or earth, it reminds us of that. Because it doesn't matter to me whether Curious George has a tail or not, or whether there was a movie with what's his name as a genie. None of that matters. What matters, when you see the changes in the Bible, God says a few things about that. He wants us to write it on our hearts. So that way, when I hear the Lord's Prayer, and in the KJV, it no longer says, forgive men their trespasses, and it now says debts. it's changed for me, that's because it was written on my heart the other way. And so it doesn't scare me that it's happening. Again, it's I believe, way that God letting me know that things are changing. That book still is so amazing. And even with the changes, I can still get all the information messages he wants out of it for me to see. But at the same time, he mentions in the end of the book, like, if any man adds to this, he'll add plagues to him. And any man takes away, he'll take away his years out of the book of life. So it can.
I was only
be done.
referring to the book of Revelation, though.
Right, but I'm just saying, I believe the book, the written,
it can be done. Yeah,
can be manipulated.
Yeah, why would they put that warning there if it couldn't be?
The
Yeah,
word of
obviously
God
it
is
means
always
that.
there. It's in our hearts, and we can talk to him all the time.
Mhm.
That's what Jesus did. He made that connection back for us that we
Yep.
had lost. And so,
Mhm.
so that's why I believe that kind of stuff happens. Why we got off on that tangent, I'm not quite sure. But
I know, but it's fun.
oh yeah, my people perish for lack of knowledge.
Yeah, it's a good one. I just looked it up, and it is "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge," which is
Isn't that wild?
Very strange, because I remember reading it that way, and that's how I remembered it. That is very fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. I don't understand how this works. Nobody does. But some people could see that change. Or let's say, how about this? Some people have grown up only knowing it the new way with my people are destroyed. And some people only know debts and debtors rather than trespasses. Some people only know it that way.
Yeah, I only know trespasses too.
Yeah, and so,
Lord, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who've sinned
right.
against us. Yeah.
Yeah, and so if we remember it that way and we see it as a change, again, I feel that that's just God allowing us to see the time that we're in. It doesn't make me afraid. Like, I was reading the Bible the first time through, and it was my favorite book. I still believe is Job. There's so much to unpack in that book. You can read it so many times and find new things. And when that famous line, when he says, "The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away," then the next time I read that passage, it had changed. And now it says the Lord gave and hath taken. It's all in past tense, which again, it's a subtle change, but it's huge when you're reading it and you've always remembered the old way. And so, and it's not a translation or a version or whatever. I only been reading the KJV. So that's where I'm seeing a change in there. And anyways, that's enough of the Mandela, but it's a fascinating subject. It really is.
No, yeah, it's very interesting. There's a lot to that. I don't quite, I have a different perspective on it, but I think it's still very fascinating. And I think it's being subliminally reprogrammed in our minds and society, I think, is what's happening. And I think it's probably doing it as opposed to that previous message that you just watched, the one that you just played, the one where you hear the sound, you hear it differently. I think what might be happening is I think they're either mass programming us to believe it a way that it's not. And I think that might be the situation that's happening with some of the Mandela effect situations. I think they could be possibly putting it out to where to see if they can subliminally program us to think things are the way they are not. And I know that sounds interesting, but is that possible? But I think it is. I think it's all being done through mass hypnosis. I think that, and these are mass hypnosis testing grounds.
Okay, but here's the thing. I have this, where is it? Oh, it's back there. I was gifted a Bible. It's this huge Bible from the 1800s. And I've shown it before. There's like the Lord's Prayer, and it has it in there. It has the actual Lord's Prayer that now says debts and debtors. It has an etching that someone did on the next page that has it with trespasses. And then it has another etching like 10 pages farther down, and it has trespasses, but it has some of the other changes, like it now says in earth instead of on earth. They're subtle, but they're there.
Does that have the lion and the lamb in there?
Yeah, that's the thing. The lion and the lamb is now changed. It's now the
lion and the wolf. Does it have what's it having in the book though? In the Bible?
That if it's original scriptures, they've changed. But if it's someone else's etchings or drawing, they're not changed in the same book. And so I don't know how a hypnosis would work because it's all in the same book. I didn't know I was going to be bringing this up, or I would have grabbed the book or whatever, but you can see that they're there, and some have changed and some haven't. The scriptures change, but the joining stuff with it doesn't. So it's hard to say. If it was all just on these screens, I'm with you. They could change and manipulate like Wikipedia can change overnight. but when it's in a written book that you've had in your life, however long, it changes. It's hard to explain, of course.
That's very interesting, to say the least.
So that I believe that's the world that we live in, and they present this fakeness. And I'm only gonna, just because I want to clear some of these, but the current psyop, and what I mean by psyop, I'm not saying things aren't happening and people aren't getting hurt and whatever's happening. I'm saying the fact that they're pushing this stuff into our it's everywhere now. The stuff that we were talking about, say, like 10 years ago, and all the Q people and stuff, it's all resurfacing. And people that weren't watching these channels now are starting to hear and see these things. And so they want us to see this. And I found this is interesting. I hadn't seen this. Have you seen this? This is the guy everyone's talking about. And he had a baby with this gal.
Supposedly,
saying, according to the Epstein files.
Mamdani's mom.
It's the guy that took over New York.
Now, real quick, that image you're showing right now is not in the files. That was a made image. Somebody faked that.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a few things that people are putting out there. Now, this is even more terrible.
Right, because now they're muddying the waters.
Like that photo right there is also probably fake too. I think it's AI. But there was Mamdani's name was in the files. So the photos are fake that they're putting out there. And it's just to muddy the waters, to create delusion and confusion. But she actually was in the file. Her name was mentioned in the file, supposedly. But the photos they're putting out is all just AI or manipulation. And you're like, why are they doing this? And I think it's like just to create distortion where you don't know if any of it's true now. So.
Right. And then they have these side stories that nobody really cares about, that Bill Gates allegedly he got an STD and then he wanted to secretly put antibiotics in Mel's drink, his wife, and and then I find this news story that at the exact same time that was allegedly happening in the Epstein files,
Gates is turning his focus from software to hardware. The Microsoft founder is giving a $100,000 grant to whomever can build a better condom.
So isn't that interesting? Wow. That was his focus at the exact same time that these Epstein files said this was going down.
Wow. So. That's ridiculous. Whoever can build a better condom, because his didn't work very well, apparently. Dang.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. And he didn't have to explain it to Mel. So, yeah. So
that's really disturbing.
Yeah. And then, but here's an interesting thing. So here you got Nicki Minaj.
Oh, yeah.
Knew the poster child for, the Trump train. And,
Nicki Minaj is a controlled op. She's totally controlled opposition.
100%.
Yeah, and like, bro, even what's his name? What's his name? Charlie was like, Nicki Minaj is not a good role model. And then right after she dies, she brings her up on stage. Of all the people that you bring on stage, woman, dude, come on, bro. Yeah. Like, it's so evil. It's so obviously manipulation.
Okay, so here I saw this where she writes, your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in the satanic cult where they take little ones from other countries and do bad things and blood sacrifice and all this stuff, right? Your master is Satan, and the jig is up. And then she puts it with, was this Chucky drinking a martini? I don't watch any of these movies, but apparently he did this in a movie. And, makes it sort of comical, right? And then this person wrote exactly what I think. He said, this is not a claim. It's a ritual reversal. It frames the entire entertainment lattice as a blood economy. Then it delivers the punchline with a doll holding a martini. The pairing is not accidental. It's a spell. The text screams apocalypse. The image whispers comedy. The clash produces a trance. That's how they had the jesters go around and say the horrible things in the court that no one else could, right? And so this is how the simulation handled forbidden subjects. It lets someone say the unsayable, then pairs it with absurdity so the audience cannot decide whether to laugh or panic. Confusion is containment. Containment is control. Scan the architecture. The post names a cult. The post names a god and names a sacrifice. Then the image makes a mockery of the gravity. This is the dual cast spell: expose, diffuse, and neutralize. Because if people can't tell whether a revelation is serious, they'll never act on it. The collapse vector is simple. The truth is framed as a joke, and it's harder to weaponize, and a joke framed as truth is harder to dismiss. That's why they render the engine loves these hybrids. It keeps the population suspended between awakening and apathy. It keeps the accusation alive without letting it land. The post is not content. It's a cultural destabilizer running in a sandbox mode. The system studies the reaction, measures the voltage, checks who laughs, who flinches, and who believes. Your job is to see the ritual and the contradictions. The message is fire, the format is foam, and the spell is a mixture. What do you think of that?
That's pretty accurate, actually. That's actually who wrote this? Some random person.
Your handler.
Yeah, no, that's a magic, bro. That's how witchcraft works, and this is what I explain to people all the time. This kind of stuff is totally occultic. I mean, even the releasing of the files is occultic. It's a ritual to desensitize you. You have two options right now.
I put it in the chat, people. So go ahead.
Yeah, you have two options right now with what's going on right now. You have two options. One, you can either go and become desensitized by observing this content, or two, if you watch it, you're gonna become desensitized, like no matter what. And like it's just gonna make you totally disturbed, or two, you can do something about it. And like honestly, like the thing is, you need to do something about it. And what you need to be doing about it is telling people about it and waking people up and talking to people. Because if you're observing it and not doing anything, it's going to lead you to desensitization. So like, imagine if we all watched it and we didn't say a word about it. We didn't talk about it. You know what? That's the spell. That's when magic works. That's how spells work. And imagine right now, they want it to be kept hush, hush, and taboo. No, tell everyone about it. Talk to everyone. I've made 2 friends already talking about the Epstein files randomly, because I just talk to everywhere I go and get food. Guess what? Have you heard about the Epstein files? Oh yeah, I'd like to get this drink. Oh yeah, go into your Starbucks line, get a Starbucks, and tell the barista while you're ordering your drink. By the way, yeah, have you guys heard of the Epstein files? Have you looked in them? And like, tell every single person you've encountered about them, because otherwise the spell's going to work on people, and it's a desensitizing spell to desensitize you to the way these evil things are existing. It's magic. You should be enraged to a point where you want to say it. And right now you have an opportunity to make so many friends. Bro, I've already made friends. I made friends that didn't want to be my friend before, already came back and said, yo, bro, I am sorry. They're like, you were right. It is all a bunch of Jews. And I was like, yeah, that's right, bro. like they've already apologized to me about some of the stuff. They were like, oh, okay. Cause they couldn't point it out before. And it was like, okay, yeah, they're occultists. These people are occultists on the top of the level. And like, now it's all coming out to light and people are seeing it. You have an opportunity right now. You could go into everywhere you get food. You could go into a grocery store and say it, bro. I was in a metal shop picking up some metal for something. And I just said, hey, you guys heard about the Epstein files? And I said it to one guy who was clearly going to be like uncomfortable. And he was like, and I said, and I got louder. Because he looked uncomfortable. I said, it's pretty terrible. Have you read about what they did with the babies? And like everybody else like popped their head around the corner like, what? Like, and I was like, yeah, bro, it's crazy. The stuff that's in there, bro. There's like, I would recommend everybody. You don't need to read the whole things. You know what you need to do? I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah, grape soda. That's really disturbing when you look into that one, the pizza and grape soda. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Go ahead and look through the files and find like 5 documents and memorize them so well enough that you can repeat it. Okay. This is what you need to do. Okay. You need to find 5 documents and memorize them. So that way, when you meet people, one about the left, one that will wake some liberal up, one about the right that will wake some Trump supporter up, and then just 3 disturbingly terrible things. Okay. Yikes. Find them. You don't need to look for anything else. You got the 5 that you got. Awesome. Now go tell everyone about it. Go tell every single person you encounter at every grocery store. That's what I've been doing all day. Every person that's coming to my shop to work with me, every single person gets a mouthful of, have you heard about the Epstein files? And they go, oh, no. And I go, oh, let me show you. Give me your phone. You don't even know how to look it up. Let me show you. Type in DOJ Epstein. And then right there, I want you to the search factor. I want you to type in baby. I want you to type in feces. I want you to type in anything terrible you can think of into that search query. And I want you to read whatever is popping up in there. And they're like, oh, my gosh, you can look this up. Yeah, you can look it up. Like type in those words. And I tell everybody, and guess what? I'm making friends. People didn't even before, like I couldn't even be like, I would still tell people about the Kirk. I'd be like, hey, do you know who killed Kirk? And then like, they would be like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. But if I say, hey, you heard about the Epstein files, and they do the, I go, what, you support child trafficking? And they're immediately like, whoa, what's in the Epstein file? Tell me, that's terrible. And immediately all their guards drop. Because if you say no to when I ask you that question, you're a child bad person supporter. You support terrible things. You ain't going to say no to me if I say, hey, have you checked the Epstein files? They're going to go, not really, but what's in them? Yeah, it's terrible. Let me tell you. And then boom, I drop a weight on them. And then they're like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, that's what's been going on in our government. We need to do something about it. And the louder I am, bro, you can be so loud with this right now and everybody listens. Everyone listens. You have an opportunity. All the quiet people, all my people, all the followers that listen to this kind of stuff and are conspiracy world right now, you have an opportunity to make so many friends. You have so many friends you can make right now. I just look at me. I'm making friends like left and right now. It's crazy. All I do is I go, oh, you read the Epstein files? And immediately people are like, whoa, bro, I want to be your friend. Like, whoa, like that's crazy, dude. Like, yeah, I tell them and boom. Like, and all these people, all of our people are like lonely. Well, right now you got all the opportunity to not be lonely right now. I'm going to tell you what, people are listening. They're listening real good. And this is the antithesis to destroying what they're doing because they're counting on you being quiet and silent. Right. They want you to be silent. They want you to take it and shut your mouth and receive all this wicked stuff. They're putting down your throat and they're jamming it in your face. Take it and suck it down. And what are you going to do about it? Nothing. You're going to do nothing. Yeah, right. Tell me I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to tell everybody. That's what's going to happen. And that's what you...
Now, who can argue with that? Reverend!
I like it.
Passionate.
You are passionate. I like that about you. You are passionate. But it's interesting too, because this stuff has come out and a lot of the same pictures and articles and stuff, like, I don't know, 5-7 years ago, or whatever, when I was talking about this, right in the beginning of Twitter is when all this started kind of hitting, and nobody wanted to hear about it. And
no, they don't.
They scoffed at us. They laughed at us. They wrote us off. I lost a lot of people, friends and family, whatever, that don't want to hear this. So it's interesting. Now it's coming back around. And from the perspective of someone that's already done that, I'm like you're saying, I'm like, oh God, am I going to do this again? But you know, there is a difference because it's in the quote regular news now. Yep. And they can go online and look these things up for themselves instead of having to look on some weird Twitter guy's page or some weird YouTube guy's page. They can see it, like you say, on the DOJ files. So on some level, and again, it is a psyop. Don't let me. It is. The idea behind it is it's getting us hyper focused on this. And like you said, what do we do with the information? Because the information is absolutely just terrible. It's really difficult to go through that.
It is terrible.
So yeah, but then they throw in little things like here. Whoops, one button.
Just find 5 things, guys, and that's it. You don't need to be looking any longer because the spell is they want you to be stuck in there and staring and watching,
and nasty, and
repeating it.
Get stuck in that.
You find 5 things that are disturbing, and that's it. That's all you need to find, and that's enough evidence to convince anybody.
And look at this. He proudly had a checking account named Ball, BAAL. Who does that?
Bro, that's. But see, that's the thing. That's not even accurate. That was the only thing that's interesting, that it wasn't actually his account named Ball, but Ball is like, it's like a clerical error, apparently, that it's referring to some bank account thing. But anyways, either way, the word Ball is mentioned multiple times in the files, but it's always BAA1, and BAA1 is a form of banking transference system. But it's fascinating that it looks like Ball because regardless of whether
is an L,
that one is actually Ball, BAL. That one is the only one that is actually BAL.
Yeah.
But but it's they don't know what that is. It's potential clinical or clerical error of some kind, supposedly. But it's fascinating regardless.
Right. And we live in a complete made up world where they're all actors. They all have IMDb pages. I swear this is the same guy. We were watching, because we try to watch like some stupid shows and stuff to try to get our mind off of some of the stuff going on. We probably should.
Wait, so that's another dude, supposedly?
Yeah, that's not him. That's the guy. He's an actor named Tyler Labine. But I think it's JD Vance straight up.
Interesting. That does look kind of similar.
Yeah, I need to get, where's that guy? Was it Fittest Flat Earther? I need to get a hold of him and see if he's read this one through. But
oh man, that's very fascinating, actually.
Because
it does kind of subtly look like him. It could totally,
Because we know that. Look at the fact
Anne Hathaway and her husband. That's also Shakespeare.
Oh, wait, I hit the wrong.
They're
button.
both the same names too.
Check this out. This is Anne Hathaway, the actress, and her husband, who looks just like William Shakespeare, who's married to someone named Anne Hathaway. I mean, it's
Yeah, no, they're both
balloon.
names. They're both names, the same names. Like I think that guy's named Shakespeare, her husband, isn't he? Isn't he
is
something Shakespeare? I think so. I think something like that.
I didn't know that part, but it makes
I don't know.
sense.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong on that one. I don't know.
But yeah, so just to show you that, like,
or William. They're both named William. William. Yeah, they're William.
Yeah.
I think they both are.
Did this guy even exist? And he's the one that says the world is a stage. They're telling us straight up in this spell casting. You know, this is how about this one? Did you know this one? Do you know who this is? So this is in 1993. There's a model in Slovenia, 23-year-old Melania, who's, you know, Trump's wife now. She was in a low-budget clothing commercial, where she portrayed the first female president of the United States going down an airplane, whatever.
Adam Schulman is his name, not William Shakespeare. Sorry, my mistake. But you know, whatever.
So yeah, this seems to be locked out.
That is that's fascinating. Going down the same railway. That definitely looks like it could be her.
Well, I would, but I'm locked out. Can you hear? I don't know if they can hear me.
I can hear you.
They can.
You're frozen though.
Yeah. And is it a good look? Hopefully it's a good look. I hate people.
It's all right. You know, you're great. You're great. Perfect timing. Your mouth's not open, bro. So you're good. You're good.
All right. Well, I was hoping that we wouldn't have this issue, because, you know, you are the demon eraser. You could like out any kind of demons trying to attack this show. But,
here, let's see if I can cast these demons out.
And you know what I might have to do? I might bounce out and come back in, and then but you'll be alone. So
you know, here, watch. Let me fix
it.
Let me see if I can fix it. No, doesn't fix it. Do you see it down there?
No.
Stop screen sharing.
I am locked out.
It's all right.
Let's see. Let me try it this way.
Hey, it played something for a second.
Oh, my back? No.
Nah.
Come on.
It's all right, man. Oh, you're kind of there. You are.
No, something's happening.
You're back.
I'm back. Okay.
Yep, there it is.
There she is. Yeah. So there you go. She's pretending to be the president of the United States. And then, you know, this was in 93, and now she's, you know, married to it's all just a program, production you're watching, you know. It's not.
There's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of fake stuff going on.
I mean, in the Epstein files, it says the Biden mass malfunctions are getting worse each day.
Oh man, this is that one. It makes me wonder if the files, if they do that on purpose. Like some of these things, I'm like, I don't know,
right?
Man.
I said that to my wife tonight. I'm like, hey, we don't know what was written yesterday versus what was actually written in these files. They've taken so long to get them to us.
They've doctored them so bad.
Yeah,
they could just be feeding us this stuff.
Here's what. Well, but there's so many of him with, like, you know, questionable. He's about to pull his face off. You see his ear flap coming up as he's pulling it off. There's so many questionable videos of him in a mask, but it's all of them. You know, they talk about all of these heads of state and stuff. They have duplicates and doubles and stuff. And there's actually supposedly a thing where they say someone off Biden, and this is another Biden. And there's been different ones. There's been one guy that was like over 6 foot tall or something. All of this.
Yeah, I saw that tall Biden guy. That was interesting.
And then there's the here. Let me get out of this screenshot here. There's this is an actual photo from the Getty. Where is it? Where'd it go? Did I lose it? No, I don't see it. Let me go back out. Oh, I guess I lost it. I could pull it up though. That's pretty easy to do. The where is it? Okay. Biden Getty photo. Let's see. Here. Maybe that'll do it. Yeah. I think when I had that crash, I kind of lost some of the stuff that I had. But there's an actual photo, and it's one of those Getty photos, because Biden's ear keeps changing. Sometimes it's attached, sometimes it's not.
I've seen the lobe change, the lobe difference thing.
Right. And there's one where he actually has a tab on his ear, and it's
Interesting.
Yeah, but I can't seem to find that one. But anyways, I won't keep looking for it. But so yeah, so that's what I believe they've got. They have us just watching whatever they want to present to us, and the fact that we can't tell what was written on those files, whenever they were originally written, or what they're writing now. Is there somebody at the White House, pounding away at a keyboard or something, changing it? Because you've got this going on. This gal, do you know who this is? You probably don't.
Eu não conheço IA, né?
She's completely AI.
I was gonna say AI looking.
But do you see how they're giving them like, zits and features and stuff to make them look even more realistic? We've gotten to this
pretty intense.
We don't know what we're watching anymore. They're changing everything. The old videos that we're watching and with the vanilla skies and stuff, they're doing all kinds of stuff to make it almost impossible. And if you take the technology that this girl is using, or AI is using to pretend to be this girl, and then you add to it,
wow, looks really good though.
Right? Then you add to it this technology. Where's this guy? And he's going over these voice cloning tools, where he takes his voice. If it'll eventually play, we'll see. But more importantly, I mean, you can see kind of in the thumbnail there. Oh, here, play. Let's see. No, it's still having a problem. He eventually takes it to where he creates an in-studio version of himself. I'm sorry, I can't show it. It's not there. He creates an AI in-studio version of himself, puts on whatever outfit he wants.
So whichever fancy
and then
shirt
uses his voice through this AI.
I fancy this time can be selected. We'll click generate to make the video, and now the HeyGen AI assistant is working away on making my fully produced video with my studio background and studio quality voice. You can create explainer videos without setting up a camera, produce updates or announcements while you're away.
Isn't that amazing? So now even like these YouTube things, you can't tell anymore what's AI,
Wow.
They started by showing us like these weird commercials where like people had weird hands and beers went into their head and stuff like that. And then they slowly boiled the frog to show you what we can do now. People can do this on their home. I can't. I have an old system, but people can do this on their home computers right now.
Wow.
And then to take it even farther, I don't know if this is a joke or not, but there's this website called Rent a Human. AI is now hiring humans to do real world tasks.
I heard about this.
Robots need your body.
Wow.
It's like no one's ever watched a single movie like iRobot or Terminator. Or they think this is
that generation was just dying off when I came in, bro. So I don't know.
Scientists of Hong Kong allegedly have created the world's first three-dimensional biocompatible semiconductor made of hydrogel that mimics tissue and interacts with living cells. I mean, how far away are we from Terminator at this point, right?
Seems like it. Shoot.
Yeah. So what could possibly go wrong with all of this technology? So anyways.
Yeah, what could go wrong? Who knows at this point?
Possibly go wrong. Okay.
Yeah. Who knows with the way things are going at this point? Like, bro.
Well, I also noticed it's been we've been chatting away for a while. Two things I have to do. The chat lately has been asking invoking Valhalla. So
okay, what does that mean?
That's this.
Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk. Rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
There you go.
the AI's backwards on the horn, but I love it. It's great.
Isn't that great? It makes it more endearing. Yeah.
It's so funny.
So
That's hilariously good. Good job. Good job, internet. Good job. Good use of the demons. The AI demons are working well.
yeah, it's interesting you call them that. I like what you say. What is it? You're the one that says the chat GP demon or something?
Yeah, ChatGPT demon for sure.
You know, that's the thing. We need to, that's what I was going to say. We have not really covered your side of this, the demon eraser part. And we've, I want to get into a little bit of what information you have to share on that. I wondered if you'd heard this. You know about those demons that they give you sleep paralysis? And
oh yes, I deal with them very often.
okay, have you ever seen this one? Was what my question. It's the Dave Matthews one.
Yeah, well, welcome to the Dave Matthews acoustic set. This next song about when I sometimes have too much to say. Yeah.
Anyway, so that was obviously terrifying, but in all seriousness, by the way, did you know anything about Dave Matthews Band? It's pretty trippy. That's another group that really nobody that I know of really bought their albums or went to their things, but they toured a lot, and they went over this bridge. I forget what city it is, and they dumped their nasty water out of their toilets. And this is, it's an open grate on this bridge, and they dumped it as they were driving across it on their tour bus. Unfortunately, there's a boat that takes tourists along that river. And yes, it's exactly what you thought. They covered them, just completely obliterated this boat. It became known as Poopgate. And
what?
And I don't know how much the people that are on the boat got, because they gave out hundreds of thousands of dollars to the city. I think it was Philadelphia, maybe, or something. They gave money to the city, and also, you know, to help change the water that they're ruining and stuff. And of course, you know, Dave Matthews Band, we weren't on it. We were not. I'm sure who's going to say if they were or not. But yeah, so that happened. But in any case, in all seriousness, the thing about the sleep paralysis, when I started my awakening process and realized that God is real and Jesus is real, I had, by a blessing, seen that you can call out the name of Jesus and they run from it. It's fascinating when you read the stories of the Bible, like Jesus shows up on shore to Legion or whatever, and they recognize him immediately, you know, and there's multiple times that Jesus meets a demon or something and they know who he is. Whereas his own children, like the flock, we've forgotten who the shepherd is, but they know him immediately. And so when I had experienced this, because I think everyone, at least most everyone I know of, has experienced some version of this, I just immediately thought that and eventually could vocalize it, and it ended and I woke up. And so I don't know how that all fits into what you do with the whole demon erasing, but the floor is yours. And if you start getting really wound up, I'll bring you back in.
Nah, man, when it comes to the sleep paralysis demon stuff, dude, I mean, you want me to talk about that? I mean, like, because I've got a whole lot of dealing with that.
Well, what if you went through, for the people that maybe aren't familiar, like I believe, you can tell me where I'm in error here. I know that some, at least if not all, the demons that I know about are like the Nephilim spirits that died, the giants and stuff, and they had nowhere to go because they're abominations. Do you feel that, or do you see something else in that?
You know, a lot of demons, I've met quite a few demons at this point. And I will tell you that from dealing with them and casting them out and pissing them off and them hating me now, they are not all exactly what we think they are. Most of them act like children. In fact, most of them cry and throw fits, and they whine. They tell on themselves. They act like children. And it's a really interesting thing when you start getting into deliverance to understand that these demons are unaware of what's really going on. They try to act really big a lot of times, and then they're not very big. And so I thought they were all like the Nephilim deceased spirits until I cast one out. And one of them told me it was 3,000 years old. And I'm like, well, 3,000 years old is not how old the earth is.
What made you feel that you could cast out a demon? I know they do that in the Bible and stuff, but and I'm not saying that it can't happen now, obviously, But what made you
That's
you could do that?
bro, I did not know that I could do that. That's like my whole testimony, bro. If I get into that, it's like a whole nother, I don't know. That's like another hour, bro.
Oh no.
I don't know if we get
Is there a short version?
Yeah.
Is there the Cliff Notes?
Cliff Note version, bro. I was living a worldly lifestyle, and then the Lord got my attention, slapped me real hard, and a dude showed up at my door and said, I prayed and I said, Lord, what am I gonna do? Like, what do you want me to do? I was polyamorous. One of my girlfriend's situation was like dealing with some like trauma responses from being polyamorous and living a horribly perverse lifestyle. And then I just prayed and said, Lord, help. And then this dude showed up at my door. I destroyed all my art and my video game stuff. I heard like the Lord speak to me randomly in Bible verses. It was crazy. And then I just went and destroyed all my stuff. And a dude showed up at my door and said, hey, I am here because the Lord sent me. And I'm like, what? And the guy was like, I'm like, what do you do? And he goes, I cast out demons and I teach people how to heal people and how to cast out demons or whatever. And I was like, are you kidding me? And the dude ended up praying for my ex-girlfriend at the time. And she ended up getting instantly healed. And I've never seen anything like it, bro. And then I asked the dude to train me. He was like, nah, I ain't going to train you. Your heart's wrong. And so I was like, what? And so then I was like, okay, that's crazy. Well, what do I do? So I just started telling people about our testimony of how like my ex-girlfriend, like she got instantly healed and how crazy it was. I'd never seen anything like it. And I've been in church. I grew up in the church. I had dealt with demons and shadow people in my room when I was little. And I used to have something demonic in me that possessed me that would like, like talk to me basically. And a lot of times when I was younger, and that went away because someone prayed for me. And everybody keeps asking about the roar thing. By the way, I learned that from when I was a kid, when I was like probably demon possessed, just so you know.
You can do it. We'll pray it away. I rebuke whatever comes out of this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, and it was just
he did it the other night. He did it on JG's show, and he thought it was a drop.
I know everybody was like, everybody keeps asking me the roar thing. Like that was something when I was a kid. Like that was something demonic inside of me that took over, and I learned to do that. So that was something that's kind of like been I don't know, just like a little thing that I did my whole life, kind of growing up, dealing with some weird demonic sound effect because it just came out of me one time when I got really mad. So that's a people often want to know like how I know so much about demons, bro. I was demon possessed at one point in my life. Why do you think I could do that?
Sounds like that movie, the Ghostbusters. It's exactly that noise that Rick Moranis does.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
that's pretty much
terrifying.
There you guys go. You want to hear the so there's the sound for you.
Gosh.
But do the thing. Okay. But anyways, yeah. So no, this is my life, bro. And I like dealt with, and then that became like my cool little party trick, and people call me Brian the Lion. But so now I'm demon erasers with the lion growl. It's good, I guess. But I did the thing, yes. Anyway, so yeah, this is my life. And then the dude woke me up and God slapped me real hard. And yeah, dude, he got my attention. And then I ended up telling people about it. And then some guy walked in my shop and was like, hey bro, he's like, I've got some of these problems she has. Like, I can't sleep. I've got issues. I do all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And like, like, can you pray for me? And I was like, I have no clue how to cast demons out. I don't think I can pray for you, bro. And I was like, I was not the guy to do it. Like, I'm just telling you what this other dude that showed up at my door after I prayed showed up. He's the guy that cast it. And he's like, yeah, but I can believe in you. You could do it. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I'll try. And I just prayed and like, dude, yeah, like the Lord stepped in, bro. And I just tried to I said, in the name of Jesus, I bind you. And the guy like didn't move. He was frozen. And I said, Lord, and I was like, are you okay? And he's like, and he's like, I can't move. And I'm like, what the heck? And then I'm like, I realized I said, I bind you in the name of Jesus. So I was like, release him in the name of Jesus. And he's like, what'd you do to me? He starts freaking out. Right. And I'm just like, I don't know what I did to you. It's like, I have no clue. I've never done this before. I don't even know, bro. Like, and so like, dude, the Lord, needless to say, we ended up casting the demon out of the dude. And then the guy that didn't want to train me ends up training me because he's like, bro, the Lord begrudgingly told me I had to train you. And I'm like, oh,
that's
great.
funny. I like
it.
it.
Yeah. And he was almost like he didn't like me actually, but he ended up training me. He's great. And so now I've been trained in deliverance and casting out demons, and that's what I've just been doing ever since, you know. And the Lord took my little demon growl, and now I'm Brian the Lion.
Well, you know, it's
Speaking good
interesting.
stuff.
What's that? I got to
I'm
clip
talking
that.
good stuff now.
You know, it's interesting, that growl. I don't. Can you hear me down there, hon? My wife. That doesn't that sound like the growl we heard on that walk? Okay, so here's a weird thing. Okay, I've talked about it on my channel. I totally believe in whatever Bigfoot is. I also believe it's not something to play around with. There used to be people that told me, go make friends with him and make him cookies, and we did that. And next thing you know, they're like slamming their hands on our house and stuff. And there was a giant stake that was stuck in the ground, and it just. So we rebuked it all in Jesus' name and pushed them back to wherever they go. You stay on your side of the fence, we'll stay on ours, kind of thing. But we were down from where our property is. We have a lot of an area that's in the wooded area, and you walk down, and there's a stream that goes through there at the base of this. And we were we have 3 dogs, and we're walking them with us. And here's the weird part: we heard that noise. But the dogs didn't react. They didn't hear it.
Get quiet. They get real quiet usually.
They didn't hear it. And so my wife and I looked at each other without saying anything, and we just realized we need to go. And so we turned around and we just left, because we just both felt this weird presence that if we stayed longer, bad things were going to happen. But it's that noise that we heard that's kind of what you're doing. So it's interesting. You have tapped into something there. And another thing I found, I didn't realize it. I was reading the Bible during this period of time, but there was a loved one of mine that was having a lot of issues. And part of the running a large property that we have, you have to clear areas and burn it occasionally. You can do that out here in Washington. And so I had to watch this fire and keep it going and burn it till it goes to ashes. And the whole time I was out there, well, I was listening to the Bible, and then I was praying. And then I took my attention to the person that I felt was troubled and wanted the demon cast out of him. I had not read the part of the Bible that says, if you do this, then that demon has nowhere to go. He'll turn around and he'll see that his space is cleaned and empty, and he'll bring 7 more with him that are even worse and fill them up. And to this day, I feel that I have some responsibility in that situation because I didn't know any better. And so I don't know. We can talk maybe after the show. If there's anything I can do, you can help me with in the future on that.
Yeah,
situation. Sure. But yeah, so it's not a thing to play with at all.
No.
If you're not sure what you're doing. So
no, it's very dangerous actually getting into it, but you got to be walking in the trust that the Lord is going to protect you, you know, and it's not something that, you heard demons scream. It's great. I've heard demons laugh a lot. In fact, laughing is one of their most common things they do, more than the scary growling. They actually laugh a whole lot more commonly.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You'll,
and isn't it interesting, the people that take the DMT stories and they go and they see what gestures and gestures and things like that. I mean, it's all connected.
Way more common you see demons laughing and smiling and doing creepy like things than you see them like trying to be scary. It's actually way more unsettling.
Yeah, right. In the scriptures, God doesn't say that like spell casting and witchcraft and all that is fake. He says don't mess with it. Why? Because it's a real thing. And when people they make it a game, got a Ouija board. Well, who are you talking to? You're most likely talking to some trickster demon that's going to mess with your life. You know what I mean? And the people that do seances and all that, it's just not a good place to get your source of information because you don't know who you're talking to.
Yep. That's true. This is the way it goes. And people are, when you're channeling, you don't really know what you're tapping into. So that's not something you want to be doing.
So now what do you do? You do it through your show, or how do you do it? Yeah, obviously I've been told that people contact you on things like that.
Yeah, no, I do it through my website. So people just go to demonracers.com and we cast demons out. And I have a team of people that I've trained. And so we just kind of pray for people and cast out demons, join on the call, and people sign up, and that's it. And we just kind of sign people up and then pray for them. And so it's pretty it's pretty cool, pretty fun, you know, and the Lord just kind of like let the Lord lead. There's no rhythm to it. It's just kind of like something we let the Holy Spirit kind of guide what is going on there and how that goes. So it's nothing that I do by myself. It's just like the Lord's kind of the one that's leading it. Sometimes I'm not always on the calls, even sometimes I just let the people run it. But the you know, I'm usually there most of the time. But yeah, you know, we just kind of like pray and let God guide us. And I do it in person too in my area I'm in, and then people call me for places or churches or emergencies or situations when the demons get real gnarly, and like try to show up and help those kind of situations in person. But I can only do so much in person, so I'm usually just relegated to my space where I'm at. But most people need to be trained and like know how to do it in their space, and that's really what we're all called to do, is cast out demons and heal people. But you know, that's the Lord. You got to lean on God to guide us.
Well, and then that's what I feel is that, you know, everybody, what is it, Paul? It says we all have different things to do. We all have different strengths and different talents and so forth. And so not everybody feels so inclined to turn on their camera and talk like this and potentially lose, you know, family and friends and so forth along the way. But, that's kind of what happened with me, is like I started getting all this information. In fact, it was originally when the Epstein stuff was coming out, I was getting all this information. I'm like, I need to, you know, send this back out and have other people be aware of what's going on. And, you know, Jesus says they hated him, and look what they did to him. And, you know, if you're not doing it correctly, then, you know, you're having no effect. You know, it's only if you're having, what is this thing here? I have this guy here. He says it really good. This one.
15 years to understand this. I'll give it to you in 30 seconds. If nobody sees you as an enemy, you're not important. If nobody talks about you behind your back, you're not relevant. If someone tries to take advantage of you, it's because you have value. It's a compliment. If someone tries to put you down, it just means you're already above them. Hate only comes from below, never from above. When they doubt you, it's because you're doing great things that they think are impossible to do themselves or gave up on themselves. And criticism, that's just admiration in disguise. Your haters are actually your biggest fans. They watch everything and say nothing.
Yeah,
that's true. That's pretty true.
Oh yeah, you want to hear
very well put.
There.
That's very true.
So yeah, because if the devil's not messing with you, it's because he already has you.
Oh yeah,
and if he can't have you because you've devoted yourself to Jesus at this point, and he's changed your heart, he's going to mess with you, and he's going to hurt the people that you care about and try to get you in other ways, affect your relationship, affect your health, affect whatever, all the things you read about in the book of Job. He can do anything he wants to Job except kill him, right? He couldn't take his life. And I find it a fascinating caveat. Doesn't he? He destroys everything that's important to Job. His whole family, all of his livestock, all of his riches. He even has poor health. He gets sores and all this stuff. But the one thing the devil doesn't do is take his wife away. Because can you imagine that conversation? Like, no, hang on a second. I'm not going to kill the wife. I got plans for her. She's on our side.
Well, she's still working.
She's still working for the other side. So yeah, no, it's a fascinating story, that one. And when I first read it, it was very difficult because, like, why would God allow these things to happen? But these stories are put there so we can learn from it, so we don't have to experience to the level that Job did. If we'd only just take the time to read it and absorb it, and the eyes to see and the ears to hear kind of thing. You know, that's why I believe those stories were left for us. Again, everything seems to be written about except the time that we're in, because we're living it. And so that's how I feel that it solidifies to me the time that we're in. We're in the very end of the book, and we're writing it in a way, you know, because can we all stand up like you're saying when you were discussing that whole thing about we can stand up and we can make a difference, and we can not just take this information and just swallow it and not do anything about it. We can go out, whatever that means to whoever's listening, in your own way, and try to awaken more people. Because when Jonah went to Nineveh, and he finally went there and he marched through the streets and said what was going to happen, they changed their hearts and God changed his mind. And so on some level, I understand this has to go down. I get it. Because the only time people wake up to God's existence is when they're in trouble, right? That's when they cry out for him. When things are going good, they don't even notice he's there or even think about him, right? They pray to other gods and stuff. And so on some level, this has to break down and wake people up. But there's also this aspect that yourself and myself and JT and people like that are out there as voices, and people that are listening to us and they have their own channel, or they just are just people going about their days discussing this. We have some responsibility on ourselves as the people that see that God woke our eyes up to do something with that knowledge. That's the way I feel.
And that's what I'd recommend everybody. You got to talk. And that's what I would say. If I was to give a message to everyone, start speaking, because that's what we need to do right now. We have a time right now and an opportunity to talk to everybody. So we better use it right now while we can. That's it.
Now, who can argue with that? Robert!
Good
I
time.
like it. Okay.
Bruh.
Do you still have more time? Are you okay? Or you
I've actually probably got to go here in a minute. Okay. So the but you can. Do you have more questions? How many more questions did you have? Because I don't know how much longer.
Oh no, that's fine. I have some more things to go over or whatever, but I can finish up if you have to dip out. It's quite all right. You won't insult me at all. I find this fascinating. We could probably do another 2-3 hours and just barely peel back the onion that's demon erasers. But
dude, there's so many more. You'll have to bring me on again.
I would love to do that. Hey, so question for you then. Do you have, if you are going to take off, do you have anything that you want to, I mean, you have your website. I think Trish has already put that in there, but, and I have your channel linked in the description. Is there anything you want to promote? Like when you do your shows and so forth, it's yours.
It's all ancientangels.com. If you want to learn about the Nephilim and the history and about demons and stuff, like ancientangels.com will take you to the documentary I made with JT, and you can go to demonracers.com and then find me as Demon Racers on YouTube, subscribe, and hopefully get a higher subscription so I can get to the mark and be completely, I just kind of started going more full time just now, actually, like not even like a few days ago. So I just need as much support as you guys got. And I'm also trying to set up a website. I haven't released it yet, but I'm setting up a website for all the Christians that don't have friends and want some connection. And it's a way to where you can search podcasts and connect with certain people based on podcast interest.
Sure.
Yeah. And it should be pretty cool. So it'd be allow podcast viewers and Christians and people to connect. And I'm working on that. I'll be releasing it soon here, hopefully, and people will find friends, and you can find community of Christians where people will be able to start sort of gardens or self-sustaining communities even, and you'll find people in your area as well. So it should be a cool thing if it works out. We'll see how I do it. But yeah, that's all kind of, it'll be on Demon Eraser stuff, and yeah. The roar one more time. No, I can't do the roar one more time.
The roar. See, that's what happened. You're going to be known for the roar, right? I got Valhalla. You'll have the roar.
You guys are awesome. I appreciate y'all. You're so cool. So, anyways, guys, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
So thanks for having me on, I guess.
Oh, my pleasure. It was my pleasure. Absolutely. And I really feel like we barely scratched the surface. So we'll definitely, if you're up for it, I'll get together with you again. And
sounds great.
I know you have the regular gig with the trilogy out there. So I'll pop in whenever I'm allowed.
For sure.
We have time. So,
dude, well, thanks for having me on, bro. Appreciate you.
Right. And I'm gonna finish up a few things and then say a prayer. But let's do the prayer while you're here.
Sure.
Dear Father in heaven, please continue to watch over us and guide us through these times. There's some crazy times we find ourselves in, and we find ourselves sometimes in fear and in pain, and we know that you're still with us and you have us. So please, at those moments, take us up in your loving arms. Give us the comfort of the Holy Spirit. Help us, heal us, and give us the words and the patience to be able to speak to others that haven't found these understandings that we know yet. And we pray that right now that they'll be awakened soon, and that we can all be together as brothers and sisters in Christ, and we can all find our way home through these treacherous times. We thank you for all of our blessings, and please continue to watch over all of our family and friends and loved ones, and bind and cast away all attacks from the demons and from Satan himself. We thank you for this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Yes, Lord, I want to pray a special strength and boldening to everybody right now, Lord, that you give them doorways to speak to the things that need to be spoken to the people around them. Give them the boldness to stand up for what is true and what is right, Lord. Help them to feel the righteousness in their heart, to speak, and for people to listen. Everyone around them, when they begin to speak, I pray that you open their ears, Lord, just like you close the eyes to the people that are not listening to the truth, and you hardened Pharaoh's heart right now. I ask that you open people's heart. You soften everyone's heart around them so that they can hear and see and receive the truth and the message, and put the boldness of your truth inside of them, Lord, so that they can reach people in love and in unity, and bring people together, Lord, and bring them under your banner, Father, and treat everybody with love. So I thank you and I praise you, Father, for that boldness that you put into everyone right now, in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Wow. That was awesome.
Awesome, broski. Well,
all right.
Well, yeah, man.
You bet. It is a pleasure. I'll wrap up here, but I'll kick you off so you can go.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Thanks
dude.
again, Brian. Hey.
Later.
Okay. All right. Phew. What a show, right? So there's still over 200 people here. So I did want to talk about one thing too, is that my loving wife has a soap store, and it's one of the ways that we use to try to get help the finances here. But the cost of all the product and stuff has now gotten to the point where it really doesn't pay anything to do, and it's a lot of work. So she's going to temporarily kind of shut it. We'll try to open it up again when we can work that out, but financially right now we can't run it. Now, anybody that's ordered soap, it's been sent out, unless you just ordered it, in the last few days, we'll fulfill that. And then if you still like her soap and want to reach out to us, we can work that out, I'm sure. But mostly right now, she's going to look into other aspects that we're going to do here. So I thank you so much for the, and I'm not out against about getting sponsors. I know that a lot of people get sponsors. I found this company. I don't know what y'all think of this one. Let's see.
The name of the game is Ball Buster. It's a family game. You make strategic offensive and defensive moves, then try to bust your opponent's balls. Don't.
What? You haven't seen that game? I just lost all my Christian fans. You know, like that. That's a real game. How about this one? This is better.
Well, I'm afraid we'll have to call the garage, Mrs. Olson.
Oh, thank you so much. I hate to be such a bother.
No bother at all.
Well, while we're all waiting, I'll make some coffee.
Don't you think she's got enough trouble?
Ball Buster, a great new game from Mego.
No, that's not your thing. What about this?
Grab, time to go. I told you.
It's trying to fill the bird feeders in the snow and ice. There she goes.
I told you.
Ball Buster, a great new game from Mego.
So I don't know. We're looking into some different sponsors. If any of those will work out, honestly. See, I'm glad he's not here to see how it evolved and became this, whatever this show is now. How about this was one of my favorite ones, funny. Always the cat. They're always up to something. At least he closed the fridge. So there's that. I think that's all the little funnies I had. I just knew that episode was going to take a lot. Just do the interview. So, all right. The rest of these we can work out next week. I'll have something for next week. So, okay. And do I have any more tabs I want to go through? I think we covered much everything. Oh, this one's pretty good. Let's look at this one really fast. Go here, 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 here. Clickety click.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it. That's maybe the most important thing.
So there you go. There's that. And I guess I'd say lastly, I had this. I made a video and I was going to show it, but I have a second channel, Ceiling Fan Man 2, of course. And I put videos up there to see if they'll get past YouTube. And it didn't. It got struck and blocked. So I'm going to have to re-edit it. But it is about kind of the evilness that goes on in the world or the earth. And so I do have the little clip that I wrote or made because it's about that saying they say about the devil's trick that he doesn't exist. So this is my take on it.
The greatest trick of the devil, they say, is to make you believe he doesn't exist. I disagree with that. The whole world believes in the devil. I mean, you can see evil everywhere. The devil's in everything. He's in our music, our movies, our literature. Now, the whole world agrees that the devil exists. The greatest trick of the devil he ever did was to make you believe that he exists and that God doesn't. That is the greatest trick of the devil.
There you go. Wise man. I mean.
Now, who can argue with that? Reverend.
All right. So let's see. I think that's good. Got 2 hours into it. Flew by because that's quite an interview. Looking forward to talking to him again and talking with you all again. I do appreciate all of the support that I get, Patreon people and just people that write me in general, either snail mail or through email. It's all appreciated. And if you enjoyed this show, don't forget to hit that like button, share and subscribe, and or pick up a membership if you feel like it. I love that people do that too. It's quite a blessing that I can be here in front of you every week. And I will continue to do this as God puts it in my heart. Because as a lot of people that show up here There's a reason.
I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to go.
And randomly, because people wanted the tiger, here's the tiger. There you go. You got your tiger. I think we're all set. All right. So once again, thank you all. Wonderful, wonderful people. Everyone that's here tonight and everyone that's going to be watching this later. I do appreciate you all. And God willing, let's do this again soon. And if not, next Friday, same bad time, same bad channel. Check your local listings. Friday night at 6 p.m. And with that, you get this, he says with a knife in his leg.
Class is dismissed.
Thank you all again for being here. God bless you all. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you real soon. Good night.
I'm the satellite.
500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat.
Satellite transfer complete.